Okay, so since today is day one, and in the demo session two, I've covered two things to be precisely speaking, which are nothing but what is a scenario, what is a version. We have discussed about that, and we have also discussed about the financial statements. So, what are the three financial statements that everybody will be looking for in our EPM domain? Are the three, which are nothing but income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow. We have also discussed about the differences between income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow in our second demo session. I hope you have got the links of that recording as well in the previous group. Okay. Today we are going to discuss about the cube, the database architecture. So before going into going into the application, working on it, getting a hands on the application, you need to know, especially to the people who are new to the CPM domain, you guys need to know what is the architecture of the database. Because, for example, let us see if you are, I hope everybody uh, has has the basic knowledge on SQL. At least they might have heard select star from table name. So those are some of the SQL commands. So on what basis you are going to write those SQL commands? If you know how a relational database like SQL table, if you know how a table, what rows are available, what columns are available in an SQL table, you will be able to write according query based on the table that has been configured either in Oracle table or a SSMS, Microsoft SQL or an exam server. Of course, everybody must have been familiar with exam server, right? So what does that mean? It means that if you know the architecture of a table, you can query the data however you want. Either if you want to insert some rows into that table, or if you want to delete any operation can be done if you know the architecture of a table, right? So in similar manner, it is very important to know the architecture of the database that is being used in this in an EPM application. Okay, so let me share my screen. I hope everybody can see my screen, right? So from now on, again, there won't be any PPTs. It will be fully on Sbase. Okay. I mean, it will be fully on the Excel sheets and in the application. So there won't be any such formal presentations or anything of such. So yes, you will be seeing the screens a lot. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mahesh. I can see your screen. I can see your name on the screen. But yeah. Okay. So, uh, let us start. So, what is the database that we are going to use in an EPM application? You must have seen what are all the applications that are available in the EPM suite, right? EDMCS, PBCS, EPBCS, FCCS, NRCS, ARCS, TRCS, okay, and along with PCMCS. So, in in all the EPM applications, there will be two databases that will be used for either for planning and budgeting or for the allocations or anything. So whatever the topic that I'm going to discuss about is not only accustomed to or it is not only restricted to PBCS or EPBCS applications, but also to the other applications such as FCCS, okay, in the FCCS or such, okay. So how many databases that does an EPM application use? One is the SBase, is one database, and second one is the uh, just a minute. Yeah. So one is the SBase and other one is the RDBMS. So relational database management system. So these are the two databases that will be used in our application. So when is this SBase is used and when this RDBMS, relational database management system, which is nothing but a SQL table. So what is the difference between these two is nothing but RDBMS. Everybody knows that it is a two-dimensional database. So it will only have uh, rows and columns, like two dimensions, right? But whereas coming to the SBase, it is a multi-dimensional database. multi-dimensional database. So this is the main difference between RDBMS as well as Essbase. So how this is a multi-dimensional database, I will explain you with a proper layman terms example, but these are the differences. And in the EPM application, Essbase is used to store only numbers like integers, decimals, okay, big decimals. So whatever it is, SBase is only used to store numbers. But whereas in EPM, RDBMS is used to store non-numeric data, okay, and it is also used to load data from an external systems. Okay, so in the EPM application, RDBMS is used to store the non-numerical data, as well as whenever if we are integrating any data, okay, any source to the EPM application. For example, per se, uh, okay, per se, if we are integrating the application with a Fusion application or an SAP application, what the process will be is, first, whatever the data that is available from the source will be taken into an SQL table, and from the SQL table, the data will be pushed to the Essbase, that is to our EPM application database. So for that intermediary purposes, we will be using this RDBMS. Okay. So this one is one important question. So how many databases that we are going to use in RDBMS? Sorry, in the EPM, that is two. One is Essbase and second one is RDBMS. And per se, if the interviewer asks what is the full form of Essbase? You can say that Essbase full form is Extended Spreadsheet Database. So full form of Essbase is Extended Spreadsheet Database. So this is the full form of Essbase. So how many databases that we are going to use? One is RDBMS and the second one is the Essbase. So these are the two ones majorly. Okay, so please make a note of this. Of course, the recording will be sent. No problem on that. Of course. Okay. Now let us see how what I mean to the people who are new to this EPM domain and who are new to this terminology word called S-base, they might be confused about the multi-dimensional database. Okay, so what does this multi-dimensional means? What is the need of it? How come Essbase is how this multi-dimensional database is adding weightage to the real world? How this database is uh, covering to the main to the ERP accounting world. So let us see how this multi-dimensional database is used in the real-time EPM application. For example, let's not go into the organization levels and first, okay, let us take a layman example. Okay, for example, um, there is an organization which is manufacturing bottles, lunch boxes like Tupperware. Okay, let us take Tupperware as an example. Okay, so Tupperware, what it does? It is a product-based company. It is manufacturing the product. Okay, it is manufacturing the product, as well as it is also manufacturing lunch boxes and everything. So they are manufacturing and they are selling, right? So let us consider Tupperware. Okay, for example, in this company, in this company called Tupperware. Okay, Tupperware is selling many products. Okay, so what products are there? Let us consider some products like product one. So Tupperware is selling product one. There are five products that Tupperware is selling. Okay, Tupperware is selling five products in three different locations. Okay, for example, they have branches in three different locations, which are nothing but location one, okay, location one, location two, and location three. In three different branches, they are selling these five products. Okay, and they want to track how much revenue they are getting from each product. Okay, correct. So that can be called as an account. So they have something called in the income statement. If you see in our second demo, we have we have seen that, we have made a salary as a revenue, and then under the expenses, we have something called rent expenses, and then transportation, fuel expenses. We have added something, right? Those are called accounts. Accounts can, so in the layman language, account can be termed as uh, the line items, the items which will provide you the enough information, which will provide an enough information on the amounts that you are seeing. So, for example, if you are seeing 1,000 somewhere, okay, so if you are seeing 1,000, so what does the 1,000 means is what tells you, is what an account tells you. So if it is a revenue, if I tag revenue, if you are seeing revenue and 1,000, what does it mean? It means that, okay, a certain organization has made 1,000. And if it is an expense, if you are seeing expense and 1,000, what does that mean? So an organization has spent some $1,000 or 1,000 rupees or 1,000 pounds as their expenses. So the line item, which will give you enough information on the amounts or the transactions are called the accounts. Okay. So in the account, I'm taking something called product revenue. So Tupperware has an account called product revenue where they are tracking how much revenue they have generated by selling each product in each different locations. Okay. So we have these things. So now here, let us see, okay, how the data will be stored, by which, based on the data, how data is storing, you can get the definite understanding on what is actually meant by a multi-dimensional database. Okay, in an space, okay, the data is always stored in the form of combinations. Okay, data is always stored in the form of combinations. Okay, so this is one thumb rule that you need to remember. Okay, to the people, especially to the people who are new to this EPM domain. So, how the data is stored in the form of combination. So, so how many products does Tupperware has? Five. How many locations does it have? Three locations. And how many accounts does it has? One. So if I ask what are the possible number of combinations, what we will be saying is 5 into 3 into 1. So within 15 combinations, the user will be able to track the product revenue. What it means that, so for example, what are those 15 combinations is product 1, okay, location 1, and product revenue. Okay, so this is one combination of product 1, location 1, product revenue. And next, product 2, location 1, product revenue. And next, product 3, location 1, product revenue. Product 4, location 1 and product revenue. Product 5, location 1, product revenue. So if you look into each and every combination, you will get to see there are total 15 maximum number of combinations that you can have. So similarly, like product 1 to 5 for the location 1. Okay. So next, same for location 2. Okay. Same for location 3. Okay. So if you can see how many number of possible combinations it came, 15 combinations. So a user can input in a maximum of 15 combinations, a maximum 15 combinations. So whenever user wants to track any revenue, product revenue, he can have all the combinations here. So in this manner. So for example, product revenue for January. So for January month, let us consider January is the month. So here 100. So if you are seeing this combination, what does it mean? Tupperware has got $100 as revenue from the location 1 by selling product 1 as by selling product 1. And if you are seeing 500, what does it mean? So Tupperware has got $500 as revenue from the location 1 by selling product 4. So there can be many other things, right? It's not that only uh, only products can be there, right? Of course, there will be not only locations, but there can be also other criteria like regions. So so let us consider location one is Hyderabad. Within Hyderabad, there are many areas, there are many regions like Himayatnagar, Ashok Nagar, and so on and so. So, and if you see Bangalore, there will be many areas. So, if they are tracking by region also, they can also track by regions. They can also track by regions such as region 1 and region 2. So in this manner, okay, the data will be saved in an S-base. So since it has many things over here, like it has a company has product, it is tracking revenue with respect to product, with respect to location, with respect to region, and it is and with every account. Okay, there can be expenses as well, right? So based on the requirement, they can have as many dimensions as possible. So if you are seeing these product 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these products, these locations, these regions, and the product revenue can be termed as members. Okay, so in the EPM world, these are called members. Whereas the headings that you are seeing here, product, location, region, and account, are termed as dimensions. Okay, so since it has many, since the one company has multiple dimensions, and it is not only restricted to two dimensions. Okay, it is not only restricted to two dimensions. So this S-base is termed as multi-dimensional database, and data is always stored in the form of combinations. Okay, and so within the dimensions, members will be available, and all these members will be available in a S-base, in an S-base, or in everyday language. If you go to other EPM consultants and talk, they won't call it as S-base, but they will call it as cube, especially the people who are working on EPM cloud, like only PBCS applications or an FCCS application. They will always term an S-base called cube. So a cube. So what is the thumb rule here? One is data is always stored in the form of combinations. So I will write this here. And second one, cube is made up of dimensions. Okay, and dimensions are made up of members. So since so why Sbase is called a multi-dimensional database? Because in this database, the dimensions are not restricted to two. It can have multiple dimensions in one cube. So that's why since this database can accommodate multiple dimensions and not restricted to two, Sbase is called a multi-dimensional database. And of course, these dimensions, at an S-base or a cube. So a cube is made up of dimensions, and the dimensions are made up of members. So this is what the architecture of the cube is. Any doubts still here? Especially the people who are new to the CPM. If you have any doubts, please unmute yourself and talk.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah,
This is
hi.
Ashok.
Yes.
So, how many dimension it will support the cloud is base?
Mm, in the cloud space, you can have up to 15 to 16. Okay.
Okay.
In an application, so for example, you have a client, and your client will be giving you the application credentials. So in an application, you can have we will send you a chart. Okay, we will send you a chart, how many cubes it can accommodate. But in an application, there can be many cubes, there can be multiple cubes. So as a whole, in one application, you can have up to 32 dimensions in an application.
Okay.
When you consider the multiple cubes, you can have a maximum of 32 dimensions
Okay.
per application.
Okay. So there is no unlimited, we can create number of dimensions such.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
So in my experience, and even the people who are already working, they might have seen create having a maximum of 15 to 16 dimensions per cube, and mostly the dimensions will be common between the cubes again. So if I have a count dimension in one cube, why would there be a necessity for me to create a different all new dimension for in a different cube? If I want, for example, this is cube 1, okay?
Okay.
This is cube 1, and in the cube 2, I want to have same account dimension to be available. The same account, if I want the same account to be available in cube 2, what I can do is I can enable this dimension here.
Okay.
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 So yeah.
And so here the data will get stored in Sbase and the metadata will get stored in RDBMS.
Yeah, you can say that. Yes.
Okay. 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 Thank you. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, no problem. Others, any doubts?
Sagar, 1 minute. You said that in the cube one the account data is needed, and in the cube two also the account data needed. Means you will relate those two cubes and you store only the account in only in one cube. Is it?
So account dimension will be the first when you configure an application. Okay, I'll be coming to that. Okay, so there will be set of accounts for each. For there will be one cube created by default by creating the application, and in that application, account dimension will be available. What I can do is I'll show you in the application. Just give me a moment. So see, if you can see here, there are three applications here. So there are three cubes. So plan one is one Sbase, TS underscore PBCS is second Sbase, okay, and third one is plan two, okay. So let us see plan one and plan two. These plan one is one Sbase and plan two is one Sbase. Okay, so let us consider instead of cube one, I will tell as plan one here, and I will tell this as plan two. Okay, if you can see this account dimension here. If you can see, you can have the same account dimension in both the cubes, in any of the cubes that you want. Okay, instead of in plan 2, instead of creating, if I want the same account dimension to be available here, okay, members can be different. Members can be different, but if you want the same dimension between the cubes, you can enable them by clicking this checkbox. I will tell you the navigations on how to get this, but just to give you an idea how if we can have the common dimensions between the cube, I'm showing you this. Got it?
It means creating only once but using in multiple people.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Means the data storage, if just asking is, if
Hmm.
you create the storage in the plan one and you are using at the plan one and you are using at the plan two, the
Hmm.
both data will be stored but only in the one accounts.
But yeah, for example, if you see, I mean, the dimension can be different. Okay, so the account dimension will be there. But if you are not using this product revenue, for example, here say, if you are using something called uh, salary expenses, okay, then the members will have a different. So since the member is different, so it will use different storage again. So it will accommodate the different storage, but the dimension can be same. So let me tell you this. So the account dimension you can have common between the two cubes. You will be creating only once, and you can enable it for multiple cubes. But when it comes to members, it will accommodate on its in the S base separately. So just because if you see that product revenue has 100 in plan one cube, okay, here it is 100, and it took some 8 bytes of data. Okay, it consumed 8 bytes of storage in an SBase cube. Means if you have inputted 100 here, it has consumed 8 bytes of data in which cube? Plan 1 cube. So if you are enabling the same account dimension here, and if you are also using same product revenue here, and if you have inputted 200 in plan 2, it will occupy 8 bytes of data, okay, separately in plan 2 cube also. Got it?
Okay. Yes, yes, yes.
Dimensions can be same, but members can also be same. You can enable the members between, you can have, just like account, you can have product revenue in 2 dimensions also, in 2 cubes also. But when you are inputting data, it will consume its own share of storage in its respective cubes.
Okay. If members are taking the memory bytes in particular plan 1 or plan 2, then
Mm.
where will the storage of dimensions will take?
That's what I'm saying. So in the dimensions, so you are not be inputting directly in the account, right? You won't be inputting directly in the account. So for example, let's say in the product revenue, it is 200, and in the services revenue, okay, you have inputted some 300. So it has consumed 8 bytes of data here, and it has consumed 8 bytes of data here. So how many in how many bytes it has consumed? It has consumed an overall of 16 bytes. So what you can say is, for now again, I will be discussing about ends and spars, how much of the storage, how the storage allocation will happen in the space. But for now, just think that, okay, so total of 16 bytes is consumed by account dimension. Not in the account dimension, in one particular combination. So one particular combination will take 8 bytes of data. If that combination has data, for example, let us consider this scenario: product 1, location 1, and product revenue. Okay. So if you have inputted 100 here, this whole combination will consume 8 bytes of data in the Essbase application. Okay, so the consumption of storage will be based. So this is like, in the layman terminology, let me say this. You have downloaded a video. Okay, you have downloaded a movie from torrents. Okay, from movie rules or somewhere else. Okay, uh, and you have created a folder in your D drive or in a C drive, and you have moved your movie to that folder. Okay, to that movies folder. If I So what is the space that is taking? Is your downloaded movie is taking space, or the folder that you have created is taking space?
The downloader move.
But not the folder, right? So if you just
Yes.
create an empty folder, what if you right click on properties, what you will see? It will only show you 0 bytes, right?
Yes.
So that
Okay.
folder is very similar to the dimensions, and the
Okay.
downloaded movie is very similar to the members.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it.
Others, any doubts? Good. This is going well. This is going really well. Great. At least I think this is the second time that uh, a batch is asking me doubts without hesitating. So yeah, even I'm enjoying this. Any doubts, guys?
I have one doubt.
Yes, please.
Why it is not possible to put this multi-dimensional data in RDBMS? I mean, what are the limitations?
Okay. Let me tell you in this manner. So, eh, okay, this is a wonderful question. Okay.
I'm not
Hmm.
actually practically visualizing it. How it is not possible?
Okay, fine. Let me tell you this. So, for example, per se, in RDBMS, if you can store the same combinations there also, right? So, product 1, location 1, you can have an RDBMS. It will be stored. But if you want to show to your client for all the locations, okay, for all the locations, how much data it has been. You want to group the product revenue with respect to each location. Like for example, for location for location 1, okay, how much of the product revenue that you want to show. And for location 2, okay, how much of the product revenue. And for same for location 3, how much of the revenue it has been made. So when you want, of course, you can do this in RDBMS also, but how are you going to represent this to a client?
Mm.
So with respect to, let us consider something like total product, which will have the summation of all the products. I mean, all the 200. So for example, if I take 100, 200, 300, 400, okay, so 500 here. So what will be the summation of this will be 1500. So I want to show in this manner 1500. How are you going to show this in an RDBMS? In the same representation manner. So of course you can show this one, okay, but how much of the effort will it take? So you have a table like this, okay, and you have to write a view or a stored procedure where you need to check if for each row how much it is, and you need to store this value, and you need to write a for loop for this. How much of the effort does it take? Of course, everything in a world has its has alternatives. Just because we have alternatives, there is competition in the outside world. Otherwise, why would Oracle have a competitor like an SAP when both are of ERP applications? And Oracle has Oracle Fusion, while the SAP has SAP S4 HANA for financials, for procurement. It has its own applications. You have a workaround. It's just that multidimensional database concept will make your job easy, both for an implementer as well as for the user.
Understood.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So
And
minimum 8 bytes of data get stored for
I will
each
get
member.
there. I will get there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank.
I will get there. Yes. Others, any doubts? Okay. Moving forward. Yes. Did somebody unmute? Okay. I mean, I'm at a particular level where if I sense if a particular person is unmuting, I would say that he has a doubt or something like that. Yes, Radhika, you seem to have doubt. Nope. Okay, great. Okay, so this is one. So moving to the next topic is uh, is how this allocation happens. Okay, so before going to that, let me show you this members, dimensions, and cubes. So where you can see all this is in the application. When you log into the application, the look and feel will look more or less like this. In the cloud instances that we are going to provide you, the demo instances, you can see that the look and feel is a lot more better than this because I won't be getting any updates on this as this is a local server, but you can have much more beautiful view on this. Okay, so this is one. Okay, so here if you can see, where you can see those cubes, dimensions, and members. So when you log into the application, click on these three horizontal tabs. Okay. In these three horizontal tabs, you can select under the create and manage, you will have something called dimensions here. So when you click these dimensions, okay, you can see that, there is something called cubes, there is something called dimensions, and under these dimensions, these are called the members. So, for example, okay, to the people who are not familiar with the term called hierarchy, I'm going to tell you. So, for example, let us consider, okay, the Tupperware company. So it has many accounts, right? So it is earning revenue by selling products, and the other hand, they are also selling raw materials. Okay, so for example, raw material like plastics, okay, So raw materials revenue. Okay. And so these are the two types of revenue that Tupperware has. Okay. And on the expenses side, of course, they have some electricity expenses, of course. Everybody will have, right? Electricity expenses. And along with that, they have manpower. So they have to they have to provide salaries, right? So those are called compensation. So compensation expenses. Okay. So, so these are the two expenses that let us consider that. So, for example, for the January month, okay. So not only January, for any month, let us consider. So for a month, they have done some around $1,000 of product revenue, and by selling raw materials, okay, how much the revenue they got is 500. Let us take this scenario. So how much of the total revenue they have incurred? So the total revenue that they got is 1,000 plus 1,500. So this is the total revenue that they got. Of course, what will be the total expenses? So the total expenses, so for the electricity expenses, for example, let's say for that month, they got about a bill of $100. And for the compensation expenses, they got around, uh, they have provided $600 of compensation to their employees. So what is the total expenses now for them? So total expenses will be 100 plus 600. How much it is? 700. So what is the net income? So net income in the sense, after your expenses. For example, let us consider the profit. Profit will be the better term for this. So what is the profit? So you got some revenue and you got some expense. You have some expenses. So after addressing those expenses, how much you are left with is termed as profit. Of course, if there are any CS, please forgive me for if I've changed the profit terminology of profit, but just for the layman purposes, I've told it. So what will be the profit? So I got 1,500. Out of that, I have paid around $700 for that month. So what is my remaining is called profit. How much profit that did the Tupperware organization get in that month is $800. So this is called, okay. This is how generally an income statement will be here. In the demo session, we have discussed about financial statement, right? So one such in that income statement represents what? Revenues and expenses. So those revenues and expenses are called, can be is tracked in this manner, okay. And as I told, okay, so product revenue, raw materials, and electricity expenses, compensation expenses, total expenses, total revenue, and profit. These are called members. And if you are the arrangement of these members in this particular manner is called a hierarchy. So this is called a hierarchy. So you can see a tree view, right? So under profit, you have total revenue and total expenses. Under total revenue, you have product revenue and raw materials revenue. Under total expenses, you have electricity expenses and compensation expenses, right? So this whole tree view is called a hierarchy. And if you can see, you have something called hierarchy. Let me consider. So in the plan to cube, how many, just like, so let us consider for now, this is a plan to cube now. Okay. In the plan to cube, if you from this Excel, what did you get? In the plan to cube, you have four dimensions, which are product, location, region, and account, right? And in the product, you have products. In the location, you have these locations. In this region, you have these regions. And in the account, you have these accounts. So similar manner, in the plan to cube, you have these are the dimensions. So in this account, you have these dimensions, and in the account dimension, I have a hierarchy like this. So revenue one, revenue two. So these are the members. Okay. The tree structure of members. If you are arranging members in a way that it is looking like a tree, or is called a hierarchy. Okay. This whole income statement hierarchy is available under the account dimension, and this account dimension is available in plan to cube. So this is how you can say. So whatever we have discussed in the Excel sheet can be viewed in this dimensions tab. Okay, so this is what. And coming to the second one. Okay, coming to the perhaps the last concept of today, because since we are out of time, the one that we are talking about is allocation of data. This 8 bytes of data, how it is going to happen. Okay, so what did we say here? Here we said that cube is made up of dimensions and dimensions are made up of members. Okay, this is the standard thumb rule. Okay, now in the dimensions. Okay, so in this particular thing called dimensions, okay, we have something. There are these dimensions are segregated into two types. So there are two types of dimensions. Okay, one. So what are those two types means? Like if you are from South, then you can say this as Mahesh Babu fans versus Prabhas fans, Mahesh Babu fans, Prabhas fans, Mahesh Babu fans, Pawan Kalyan fans. Or if you are from the North, it's like Salman Khan fans versus Shah Rukh Khan fans, right? So yeah, fans can have multiple fan bases can be there for a particular hero or a heroine, right? In the similar manner, there are two types of dimensions are available in this space. So in these dimensions, there are two different groups. So one group is called dense, and another group is called sparse. Okay, so there are two types of dimensions, and all the dimensions that are available. For example, in plan to cube, I have these many dimensions, right? All these dimensions should choose any one side, either dense or a sparse. Okay, so for example, let us consider, so product can be termed as sparse. Okay, and location can be termed as sparse, and region can be termed as dense. Let us consider dense, and account can be considered as dense. Okay, where you can see what dimensions are of what type is if you come here to performance settings. Okay, if you come here to performance settings, you can see if you select whatever the space that you have, select the cube, and you can see which dimension is of what type, either it is a dense or a sparse. Okay, how this is useful, why these types of dimensions are there in the application is to get to allocate the size of an application, allocate the data storage of an application. So this is similar to like you building a gated community. For example, you are the builder of a gated community. So you will be having, right? So this is a certain size. Okay. So for example, I have some 100 acres of land. Okay. So this is my 100 acres of land. For example, for now, you are a builder. Okay. You are a real estate builder. Okay. So you have this much amount of size acres of land, and here I want to build a gated community. Of course, what you will do first, you will be deciding. You'll be sitting with your site with your designer, and you'll be thinking of, okay, I want to build a gated community, right? So how many, for you will not be discussing about directly discussing about the apartments. First, what you need to decide, how many blocks can I accommodate in this particular area that I have. So you'll be deciding, okay, there I can accommodate 4 blocks. So one is block A, and one is block B, and one is block C, and another one is block D. First, you will be deciding how many blocks that you need. And within those blocks, then you will be coming, okay, in this, for example, let us consider this block A, this is block B, okay, this is block C, and this is block D. Okay, so now after deciding, okay, I can have 4 blocks in the area, in the land area that I have. Now, after deciding how many blocks that you want to build, then you will be deciding what, how many apartments, how many apartments a block can have, right? So in this block A, you can have up to 6. So for each block, okay, for each block, so in this total area, I can have 4 blocks, and in each block, I can have up to 6 apartments. So this will be the actual architecture of the cube. So in the similar manner, just like how we decided to build a gated community inside a land area, how we decided first we need to decide how many blocks that we want, and within that how many apartments that we can accommodate in a block. In the similar manner, okay, we need to decide if you consider this land area as a cube, okay. A cube can be can be created, okay, using a block. A cube can have multiple blocks. A block can have multiple cells. Cells in the sense apartment here, okay. So this is cell 1, so this is cell 2, and this is cell 3, and this is cell 4. So cell 5, and this is cell 6. So the land area you can relate it to as cube, and the blocks, block A, block B, block C, block D, can be you can consider it as blocks, and the apartments like apartment 1, apartment 2, you can consider them as cells. So what in the cube, what makes a block? Okay, Samir, you said that there are blocks and there are apartments. You want us to relate the block A, block B in a gated community to the blocks, and apartments in each block to a different to a block to a cell 1, cell 2, cell 3. But how is this concept is going to relate with this dense and sparse? So the dimensions, based on how you're tagging dimensions, these blocks and cells will be formed. So for example, let us consider this scenario, okay, where 2 dimensions are sparse and 2 dimensions are dense. So combination of, okay, what makes a block? So what makes a block A, block B, block C, and block D in our architecture is combination of sparse dimension, okay, combination of sparse dimension members will make a block. Okay, so what makes a block A is nothing but a combination of sparse dimension members will make a block. What makes a cell? Combination of dense dimension members will make a cell. Cell. So let us consider one scenario. So there is a cube, okay, there is a land area. That land area can be called as plan 2 now, okay, since all these dimensions are in plan 2. So let me copy paste it here so that we will be understanding better. Okay, let us have say this scenario. This plan 2 has these dimensions, and okay, so the cube name is plan 2. This is done. So block A. What makes a block A? What makes a block? What I said, combination of sparse dimension members. So let me also paste these same members here. So okay, so I have these members. Okay, so let me paste it. Sorry, Control C. The dimensions I need to paste it here. Okay, I have these members. Okay, so these are the members, these are the blocks. So what makes a block A? So what I can tell is block 1. Okay, how many what is the block 1? What I said, combination of sparse dimension members, means these two are sparse, right? So product 1 with respect to location 1, combination with location 1 will make a block. Product 1 with respect to combination with location 1 will make a block. And coming to block 2, what makes a block 2? Product 2 with respect to location 2. So product 2 with respect to location 2 will make a block 2. What makes a block 3? Product 3 with respect to location 1. Okay, similarly, block 4, product 4 with respect to location 1. Block 5, product 5 with respect to location 1. So in all these possible combinations, okay, how many combinations are possible here? Here you have 5 products. Here you have three locations. So 3 5s are, okay, 3 into 5. So you can have up to 15 blocks, okay, in plan 2 dimensions, since you have selected, you have tagged this product dimension and location dimension as sparse. Okay, so if you want to calculate how many number of blocks will be available in this in this application, what you need to do is you need to come here, select, click on this performance settings, and multiply all the sparse dimensions that you are seeing here and the members that are associated with it. Okay, so in the this is how the blocks are done. And coming to the cells. So what makes a cell? I just said combination of dense dimension dense dimension members will make a cell. So for example, if we see cell 1 here, what makes a cell 1? So these two are tagged as dense, right? So these two are tagged as dense. So region 1 with respect to product revenue, region 1 with respect to product revenue, I'm taking it as PR, and cell 2 is region 2 with respect to product revenue. So cell 2 will become region 2 with respect to product revenue. So how many cells that you can have? A maximum of, here you have 2, here you have 1. So 2 into 1, that is nothing but 2. So if you compare this in plan 2, in your land area, which is called plan 2, how many blocks that you can have? You can have a maximum of 15 blocks, and within each blocks, how many apartments you can have apartments, or in our S-based terminology, cells. How many cells you can accommodate in this plan 2 land area? You can have a maximum of 2 cells for each block. So this is the architecture of the cube, and this is where the dense and sparse combinations will come into the picture. Got it till here? If you have any doubts, please unmute yourself and talk. Yes, when somebody is ready.
I have one doubt.
Yes, please. Yes, Sagar.
On what basis we will decide which dimension is going to be a dense resource?
Great, good question. So I was coming to that. So in what, how can you decide is number one. So for example, let us see. Okay. Let us consider the same scenario. Of course, this is completely again, this is completely related to the company, the client requirement that it has. For example, location 1, location 2, and location 3. Okay. This year, okay, for 2025, the Tupperware is selling in these 3 locations. But in 2026 or in 2027, okay, there is a chance, right, that Tupperware might not sell in these many locations. It can reduce its location because they feel that, okay, revenue is so less because we are spending and we are not getting enough amount of revenue in location 3. So let us close our services in location 3. It can decide like that, right? And it might, there is a high chance that this location 3 might not be used in the next year or upcoming years. But again, this product revenue can be used in this year. Okay, product revenue will be used in this year. Of course, they want to track revenue, right? So this product revenue will be used in 2025, in 2026, and in 2027, right? So how can you decide by this what you can understand? You can tag a dimension as a dense when you can see a consistent usage of, okay, consistent usage of that dimension. So product revenue will be used consistently. It contains so without this product revenue, what can they even track? They can track nothing, right? So this can be decided, okay, when a dimension is being used consistently. All the members in the dimensions is being used consistently throughout the time, and that dimension holds the maximum data. Okay, so in future location 3 might not be used. Okay, so it might contain data, it might not contain data, but the product revenue here will definitely contain data even in the next year. Same if you go to the period dimension. So for example, if I go to the period dimension, if you can see, you have you have Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. This location might not be used, but this product revenue can be used, and the periods can be also used, right? The periods can be definitely used. So one criteria for choosing, if you can consider a check rule is that if that dimension is holding maximum data, then you can tag it as you can tag it as dense dimension. And for example, okay, here we have something called okay, a product profit, total revenue, product revenue, total we can see a tree figure here. So if this tree is lengthy, for example, uh, above this you have so many levels going up, like this is level 0 and this is level 1 and this is level 2. If there are more levels, okay, then you can tag that dimension as a dense. So one criteria is that if a dimension is holding a large amount of value, and okay, and if that dimension has multiple levels, more than 8 or 9 levels, then you can tag that dimension as a dense. Otherwise, okay, if it is not holding much of the data, okay, if it is not consistent and if it has less levels when compared to the other dimensions, then you can tag it as sparse dimension. So there are two thumb rules. One is data should be maximum. It should hold the maximum, and the levels, if the levels are higher compared to the other dimensions, then you can tag that dimension as a dense. Else, you can tag that dimension as a sparse dimension.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. And remember, people, okay, the size of an each cell is 8 bytes. Okay. So if you are a landowner and if you want to sell an apartment, just like how we are having 400 SFT, 1400 SFT, 1700 SFT, 5000 SFT, it is not that dynamic here. Okay. So each cell will occupy 8 bytes in a block. Okay. So please make sure that. So if you can consider this, what is the cell size here? Cell size is 8 bytes. Okay. And what is a cell? Cell meaning, so region 1 with respect to PR. If you are inputting 100, okay. So if this family of 100 is coming and living in your gated community, how much space you have provided this family of 100? You have provided 8 bytes. So similarly, there are 6 other things. 6 other families came. So 6 into 8. Okay. I'm very bad at math. 6 8s are 24. So each cell size is 8 bytes. Okay. Each cell size is 8 bytes. Okay. What is the block size? So block size will be what? So for cell size, okay, into number of cells available in that block. So how many cells are available in this cell? 6. So 6 into 6 8 are 24. So this
48.
block size is 6 8 are 48. Sorry, I'm really sorry. 6 8 are 48. So 48 bytes is the block of each cell. Okay. Since the cells are consistent throughout the each blocks. Okay. So what is the cube size? Okay. So cube size or an S-base size. So what is the cube size? So each cell is 8. So okay, what did I say? A cube is made up of blocks. A block is made up of cells, right? So a cube has how many blocks? It has 4 blocks here. So block size into number of blocks available in that cube or in a land area. How much does it have? So one block is 48. So 4 into 48. I think nobody can answer this. So 192 bytes is the size of the cube. So this is a simple math. So if for one cell, this is how much size it is taking. So if there are 6 cells here, so so for 6 cells, how much size it is taking? So 6 8 are 48. So I have a block. It has 6 apartments. So how much of the area that I have given them? 48 bytes of size that I have dedicated for that block. And your total area, how much area it is? It is 192 bytes. Okay, so this is how the sizes will be calculated and the data will be stored. Okay, got it, guys? Any doubts on this? Tomorrow we will be seeing how do we create these hierarchies. We will also be learning about the levels, generations, okay? And we will dig even deeper on this, okay? So, yes, any doubts? Let me stop the recording.